Michele Locke, welcome to Bitch is a Bad Word.
Best name podcast ever.
Well, I don't know if you know the backstory, but it starts like all good stories in this space do with I was called a bitch by my ex. And my child at the time was super young, and he's like, we go inside, Mama, what's a bitch? I'm like, well, I wasn't ready for this conversation.
No, like that was not on my bingo card for conversations today. Thank you, Satan.
I'm like, well, so I said, bitch is a bad word, and wrote this on a Post-it note. And I put it on the fridge, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. But it's a great reminder for all of us.
Great story. My son has a bitch story too. My son, he's now almost 20, but he was like 9 years old in the back seat of the car. He's like, Mom, can I say a bad word? I'm like, well, depends if you use it in the context correctly. Without missing a beat. I got 2 bitches at home because we have 2 female dogs. And I'm like, and if that wasn't a sign of what was to come with that young man, I don't know what else was. Because, Lord have mercy, I got gray hairs from that child.
Oh, damn. Oh, my God. I hope to sweet Jesus that this being on the fridge, sharing it every day and being like, listen, you have your own anatomy you can like dog people with, leave us alone.
Right.
So, you know, the favorite word, I wear all sorts of hats. Today I'm wearing the MILF hat. To the bestie gang who's not watching this video, I'm wearing my mother's in litigation hat so that we can talk about all things legal. But I rotate between the cunt hat, the bitch hat.
See you next Tuesday?
Yes. And I actually drop my episodes on Tuesday so that I can say, see you next Tuesday every single time.
I love it. One of my law partners has a story about a guy who wrote an email to his ex-wife, and like the beginning of every sentence was like, see you, like, and it went down the page. And anyways, it took a while for the judge to.
That's a lot of effort.
That's a whole lot of extra effort that, yeah, see you next Tuesday. But do you know, and I'm sure you do know this, but like Australia, like they drop the C word like it's nothing. And
and in England too.
Yeah, and I'm like, ooh, but yeah, no. I had a lady from Australia that I represented her ex, and it was the see you next Tuesday word in literally every text message, which doesn't translate real well in Texas courts, let me tell you.
Oh, well, shit. I'm in California, and I think I have a whole segment called Texties from the Exies. And we read all the unhinged text messages that come just floating across from all sorts of people. And
I need to add to your list. I got some good ones.
Please do. You know what's so fascinating, Michele, is like it started off as like a personal segment, and then as things do, it grew to this like send them to me. Like let me know. So people send me their anonymous texties, and I could put them all together on one giant board, and you wouldn't know the difference between any of the authors. They all read the same.
It needs to be a book. Like, you know, shit my dad says.
Well, it is about to be a book. It's going to be the most. We're designing it as like a beautiful like coffee table book. You know, just like that you can just put on. It's going to be so pretty next to your Chanel book.
Wait, I can't wait. Because
so yes, Texties.
Do you remember? Because you're like me. There used to be a website called she'sahomewrecker.com or he'sahomewrecker.com. Does anyone remember those? Anyways,
oh my God.
There is nothing better than to go to that website on a Friday night with a bottle of wine and do a reading from those websites. Because, I mean, the stories that were posted. But, I can't wait for that to come out. Because, I got some.
I loved shit my dad says. That was such a great, that was like Twitter.
It was. It was a great book. And so, this is going to be shit my ex said.
Yes. So send me your texties from your exties because they are.
Well, some of mine are even better because they're the ones that are introduced into court.
Well, I'll tell you this. I had a scenario where I was introducing things, and I was talking to my lawyer and I was putting them all out in front. And see you next Tuesday is his favorite term. You know, it's like a term of endearment, if you will.
Aww.
And I'm like,
extra special.
So cute.
Extra special.
Thanks. I'm feeling super cunty today. And
It's a great feeling. You should try it.
it is like my cunt vibes are high. So that is just sort of, I've taken ownership of it. Just to be like, if this, like, could you imagine just saying this? And I have been called it. I've been called it in front of children. I've been called it on text. I've been called it. It's like the fact that it comes out, and I say this, like some people, when I talk about that word, they're like, it's hard.
I can't say
my
it.
dad.
I really cannot say it.
Oh my God. My dad, I love my dad. But bless his heart.
Bless his heart.
He
can't say it.
is like, has to listen to me say this stuff all the time. And I can see him like, there, she said it.
She said it again. It's like he needs a swear jar.
And I say it now only. I never said it before. I hated it. I felt the same way, but it's been called at me so often. And I really just say it a lot on the show to like, part of it is if someone's calling you, see you next Tuesday, they are an abuser. They're not just bad words, right? It's abuse. It's emotional. It's abuse. And so many times, and I think often depending on the person who's saying it to you, it's like, well, it's just a bad word. And that's where I'm really sort of pushing for somebody listening to be like, it's not just a bad word.
It's not just a bad word. And the other thing that I've heard said, which drives me nuts, is it's things said in the heat of battle. No, it's not. It's not stuff said in the heat of battle. It is stuff and things that are said that are designed to cut. They're designed to hurt. And they're designed so that you don't forget them.
Thank you. Because those words, those bad words live rent-free in your mind.
Oh, rent-free.
Long after the physical bruises of anybody hurting you, assaulting you.
You're not smart.
Healed.
You just think you are. Oh, yeah. There are ones that stay with you for a very long time.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, I have chills just hearing that because if you go back and just look at my Instagram, I have like ones where it's like, if you were ugly, you'd be dead. Do you know how often I think about that statement? And that's like, how can you say that? And I mean, it's taken me so long to be like, that's not true. It's not true. It's not true.
But it's always like, it just sits there. I mean, it really, when you say rent free, that bitch is rent free and you can't evict her or him, whatever the thought is. But I mean, it sits there and you really have to talk yourself out of, no, I'm not stupid. No, I am smart. I just wasn't smart enough to leave your ass earlier.
There we go. And that's so important too. And that's the part of their playbook to keep you down, to keep you thinking, no one's going to want, you're worn out. You know what? You're blown out, your kids, you're dumb, you're this, you're that. And you believe this stuff for so long. And because you're living in this silo, in this world they've created, you're like, I guess it's true.
Yeah.
And they're all like,
middle-aged woman like you.
Oh, yeah, you got a bunch of kids. You're lucky that I'm with you.
I'm like, this shit's good. Didn't hear you complain for fucking 20 years. Just complaining now because I don't want your ass. Sorry.
Sorry, not sorry, besties.
Sorry.
Please go check out our Patreon. It is growing. There is a badass community hitting over there. Patreon.com/bitch is a bad word. There's free tiers. There's paid for tiers. The paid for tiers give you ad-free listening, merch drops, merch discounts. We have a private Discord server where every single member is vetted. We personally look at their license so you can build your bestie gang, rebuild your network, rebuild your net worth over there on Patreon. Patreon.com/bitch is a bad word. The backstory here of how I found you is obviously good old fashioned Instagram.
Right.
But what I really like about your approach is you break it down. I mean, maybe that's that Texas in you. Like, I love fucking people from Texas. 'Cause I'm like, they're not afraid to say what's on their mind. Like, let's just, not at all. And I was like going through all of your Instagram. Like, I wish you were my attorney, because I will tell you, shit would have worked out a lot better for me if I had you on my case. Because what I didn't know, you don't know what you don't know. So I say this, you're listening. My whole entire goal of the show is to teach you the things I wish I had known.
Yep.
And what I wish I had known was that I would have found immediately a trauma-informed attorney. I would have found a woman. And here's the thing. I was like, it's got to be a man because like I got to go like fisticuffs, like man to man or whatever. Like, I don't know, whatever the hell I was thinking. And I didn't know. And I just like went on Google search. My God. And I didn't realize like you could sponsor those ads and they came up first. I was like, they're first. They must be the best.
You know, they just pay the most for Google.
You live and you learn, y'all.
You do.
So I saw everything about the way that you approach even just marriage, you know, outside of domestic abuse, the divorce realm is so important. It's outside of making the decision to marry somebody. It is probably the most important decision and team you need to build as you're exiting.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about trauma-informed attorneys and what it looks like. If you're listening right now and we say this again, if you are not safe, get yourself safe.
Get out.
Get out. Yes. You have to be safe first.
Mm-hmm.
But understanding if you are in a domestically abusive relationship, let's break down all the steps, if you will, of what somebody needs, the best path forward to own the best outcome.
Oh, it's so tough because what's best for some is not best for others, right? But the general rule that I kind of live by, and you probably heard me say it, is peace is priceless. I'd rather be living in a cardboard box or couch surfing on a friend's couch or living in a 600 square foot apartment than living in a house where you drive up into the driveway, no matter how many acres it's on, no matter how close to the country club it is. I would rather have everything else I just listed than to pull up that driveway and the weight of your shoulders increase because you are bracing yourself for what the unknown is when you walk through that door. Because everyone who's dealt with it understands you have no idea what is waiting behind that door. It could be great. It could be the silent treatment, which in some ways is great, but all the way for some people it's triggers. Or it could be just outright abuse. Like you walk through that door and it's fight time, right? Like you as a general rule, you don't know. Now there's some times where you kind of know on the drive home. We've had the conversation on the way home, and hey, what do you want to do for dinner? Like you know the tone. Like I could hear it in the way the phone was answered. I'm like, ooh, we're in a mood. And so you got to figure out, well, how am I going to manage that mood? How am I going to manage that in the kids and the animals? And, after I've worked a full day. So I start off by saying that no amount of money is worth it. None. Mm-hmm. Money is lost. Money is gained. Money does not buy happiness. It buys some nice vacations, I ain't going to lie. But it doesn't help you sleep without nightmares. It doesn't allow you to pull up into a driveway and not have those heavy shoulders or that heavy weight on you. The money doesn't buy you the ability to manage that anger or that mood any better. And
let's be real, that money does not exist. Most likely it is not even yours to take. Correct. If they are financially abusing you. You're living a pretend life.
Correct.
Like because it changes the second you leave. They want to see you in a cardboard box. Yep. They would rather see you living on someone's couch. They don't give a fuck.
No. Now, they'll say they do because they want what's best for the kids. But if that was true, you wouldn't be in the situation to begin with.
Hello.
So,
that's what she said.
What I will say is just get out. When I left, I didn't have any plans on leaving that particular day. But we had one more fight where he was screaming at me and my kids were hearing it. And I simply couldn't do it anymore. And I walked out because I knew there was no way he was going to leave the house. And I went and slept on a friend's couch for 2 weeks. And then I had a knee replacement. And then I was in an Airbnb for another 2 weeks, recovering from my first knee replacement. Then I found an apartment, moved into that, and then had my next knee replacement a couple weeks later. I mean, there was no plan. But by hook or by crook, you can figure it out. You can. And so it is not I can't. It is I can, but how is it your can? And you're also going to find that your friends know you're not okay. Your friends have known for a long time you're not okay. And it's really okay to tell them you're not, because you'd be surprised at who steps up for you.
Mm-hmm. It's
and
so true.
Take their help. Don't say no. Don't be too big or too afraid, too shamed that you went through that for so long to not accept their help. There is nothing to be shamed about.
I love that, because you carry such a shame anyway. You have riddled with shame, and it is by design that they have like just fueled your entire toxic relationship with shame.
Yep.
And, self-doubt and, all those things. And, you believe all the lies that they have told you. But the people that are on the outside, and you're going to lose some friends, you're going to lose people because some people just can't handle it. And that's okay.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, they weren't there. They weren't anyway, then. So I always like to say, like, you lose the people that you were meant to lose. But the people that have always known and the people you've lied to about what's really happening, they know, and they cannot wait for you to come back, and they're waiting for your call.
Yep.
They want to help you, and they don't care that, you're not in the country club anymore, or you're not driving the Range Rover, or even if you weren't rich, that they don't care. They don't care.
They don't care. They don't care. They don't care that you were 300 pounds once before and you're no longer. They don't care that don't care. Your true friends, the ones that your ride or die, so to speak. They're just waiting.
And they're like, thank God I don't have to listen to that asshole anymore.
Right? Like, dinners on Thursdays are going to be much nicer now that he's not around.
We can't wait to come.
We can't wait to hang out with you again, because, girl, we were not hanging out anymore with that asshole around.
No. And you'll see, they'll all come back. Your life will be richer in more ways than you've ever experienced. And I love that you're saying, because the money doesn't buy happiness. It doesn't. And in fact, in some cases, money makes it worse.
Oh, money makes it a lot worse.
Yeah.
Money makes it a lot worse.
Because they're like, well, what the fuck? I don't care. Like, throw some money at it and make,
Yeah. She'll go away. She'll take the money. I'm like, yeah, keep it, whatever. I don't. Just go. Well,
and then they'll flip it on you anyway. They're masters of flipping the script, right? The Darvo is real. So if you left, they'll be like, well, she only wanted me for my money. And then if you like try to go after it, they're like, see, she's only going after my money. Like,
you can't win.
You cannot win for trying. So just don't. Doesn't matter.
And my thought is, why do you give two shits what he says anyways? If the people are going to believe what your ex says about you, they weren't your friends to begin with.
Right. It's, well, and you know what it is. And this shit's not real. It's just hard. So it's like, this is where I want to kind of deep dive for a second, is when you're leaving, when you have made the brave decision to go, and then you're having to like do the business side of how it looks, and lawyers get involved. You really have to understand that what that your ex thinks of you, says it's none of your business, because all it is a method to distract you and get in your head so that you're not focused on like what's the real. And that's what they've done. Right. They are like a wormhole in your brain. They've done this forever. They manipulate. They're masturbators, as we know. And all they want to do is get you to take the bait, bitches. And we're not.
I've raised 3 boys. And sorry.
No,
God did not bless me with girls. He gave me lots of Y chromosomes. All right.
Oh my God. No, you're like, why are these socks so crusty?
I'm like, I don't want to go into your bathroom. Thank you.
Yeah, no. And so now we call the dirty Johns masturbators. They just want to masturbate you. They just want to get you to freaking take the bait, get in your head, and get you distracted. So the best thing to do would be, right, if you can, go no contact during this beginning part, because they're going to tell us what they're going to do.
Oh, well, there's 2 different strategies. The one, they just light you up with what a terrible POS you are and just beat you, and it's verbally beat you. Mm-hmm. Or they become this super reasonable guy who really just wants to get this resolved and put it behind us so we can move on and co-parent so wonderfully together.
Oh my God. Drop the lawyers, Linz.
You don't need a lawyer. I actually had one case that I tried, several months ago, where right after we cleaned them off in trial, he calls his ex, my client, and says, our attorneys really didn't do a good job. We should really get new ones. Mm-hmm. My client was like, thank you very much. I'm not getting a new one.
Hell no. No, they want like you need their like and listen, family court is a hard place to
it's an animal of its own.
Yes.
It really is. It is not for the lighthearted. It is not for the faint of heart. And it is not for someone who dabbles. It is not for a practitioner who dabbles. You cannot have someone, if you have an abusive ex, whether it's verbal, emotional, financial, doesn't matter what the abuse is. But if you have an abusive ex, you need to have an attorney that does not dabble in family law.
Okay.
The risks are too big.
And so
family law is too nuanced.
That's the thing. That's what I was about to ask you. Because like so many times we hear from women who say, well, I never reported it. It doesn't mean it didn't happen. And this is what I want to say a million times. Just because you didn't report it doesn't mean it didn't happen. You didn't report it because it's usually really dangerous to report it. And you're still, they pay the bills or they're living in the house, whatever, all the reasons. You love them. Reasons. You have kids with them. You don't want to put them in jail. All of these reasons.
They're doctors. You don't want them to lose their license.
Yes. All of these reasons are so valid. And it doesn't take away from the fact that you are a victim because you didn't report it. But it needs to be addressed when you're unpacking everything.
Correct. But I don't need a police report to go to court to tell a judge that you're a victim. I don't. And I can't tell you how often people come in and say, well, I don't have a police report. And my answer is, and? Did it happen? They're like, yes. And I said, then why do I need anything else?
I just feel like there was a mic drop right there because so often in my personal experience was I even had a lawyer who said, really, you're going to talk about DV? Like, you're going to bring it up? You're.
Was it a Y chromosome?
Yeah. And he said that the judge, I was going to make so much money with my child support and that I should just, which didn't happen, by the way. But that, I might come to the table looking like I'm trying to go after more money. And I was so confused because I was like, but that's the reason I left. I left because of abuse.
Of the abuse.
So why, like, I'm not coming after more money. I'm anyway. But he just was like, yeah, well.
So I'm not justifying anything that attorney did. What I will say, though, is there are times in our practices, and I've been doing this now for 23 years, where I've had individuals, men and women, that come in and I don't believe their story. And it's not because I don't want to believe their story, but you do this long enough, you learn what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. And there are some stories that walk through your door that I'm like, that didn't happen that way. Mm-hmm. Like, it just didn't happen that way. And so sometimes we have to screen our cases, but as a general rule, if you're coming in and I believe you, and I hate to say I have a spidey sense about it, but you do this long enough, you kind of know.
Yeah.
And when you hear some more of the facts of the case, you can understand. Like, there is always, well, not always, generally a trend, personality disorders involved. Like, you can say, you can usually see what's coming next.
Right.
But you don't need a police report. And that is a huge, huge misconception out there. And one of the reasons why I really kind of started doing this.
Okay.
Because lawyers are really good at sounding really smart. We're really good at using lots of acronyms that no one else understands. Mm-hmm. And someone that does this for a living really should just say, okay, guys, here are the nuts and bolts of it. And that's what I'm trying to do, which is with a little bit of my Texas twist to it.
You're getting a divorce, your marriage is over, your life is uprooted, upended, everything. You throw DV on the top of, like, you're like, whoa, you are in trauma. So you really need to understand that the person that's coming in to help you really navigate this road is going to understand the nuances and the complexity of DV.
Right.
And they have to believe you. And like, what are some things that you wish your clients would know? So we talk about, hey, listen, they're going to try to bait you back in. They're going to try to tell you to drop the lawyers. They're going to try to tell you to do this. Would you wish that your clients would go no contact for a period of time? Or what's a bestie's
So some of that
best?
advice is going to depend on the nature of the situation. But what I always tell them is the minute that divorce got filed, they are no longer your friend. They are no longer your buddy. They are no longer looking out for you. Mm-hmm. Period. Now, they want to be reasonable? Sure. Have them send a settlement proposal to you and then bring it to me. Do not sign a single thing until you run it by me first. And no, y'all, it's not because I'm trying to charge more money. It's because I'm trying to ensure that you don't screw things up. I've had a couple cases where they do sign things and they sign away all their property rights. So, I got a good friend in South Carolina who believed her husband, and she was in the throes of the trauma and the leaving, and about lost all the property that she'd spent 30 years building with him.
Because it goes to, it's telling you this, they do not care. If you were with a pathological person, and that's that's the focus on this show, right? Is these particular kinds of people. There's probably great divorces out there, Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin, whatever. That's not this. This person does not give a shit about you ever. And you have now exposed them. You are pulling back the curtain. You are public enemy number one. They do not want the best for you.
No, they're only looking out for themselves. They were only looking out for themselves during marriage.
Yeah.
You can usually figure out how many affairs they had that they were only looking out for themselves. Yeah. But that being said, that doesn't change. Like what I find is that all of a sudden you expect your soon to be ex to be reasonable. And I'm like, he wasn't reasonable while you were married. Why do you think that's going to change?
Yeah, that's so important.
They're not. Leper doesn't change their spots, y'all, unless they have a near-death experience, and then maybe they'll change their spots, but not likely.
No, not likely at all. And so you're like, okay, what are some, if you're looking for an attorney, how do you know that they're...
Oh, so stand-up comedy is my, I get guilty pleasure because... in order to do this for a living, you have to be a little warped when it comes to humor. That being said, I laugh because it provides my sanity. And so one of my favorite comedians, Christopher Titus, talks about when he got divorced. He was like, he went through the yellow pages. And and he's like, don't do it. I'm like, yeah, that's the last thing you do is go through the yellow pages to find your divorce lawyer. Although, honestly, I don't even think do they even deliver phone books anymore? I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean...
Yeah, I think you're younger than I. You probably don't remember the big...
No, I'm 45. I definitely...
Oh, okay.
I have... Yes, we used to find everybody's phone number.
Oh, I know, right? Did you have the party line? Did you have the party line and the light up phone?
Yeah, we're like, oh, wait, hold on. Let me find his number.
And then there was like 8 of like Mike Smiths in the yellow pages. God, I do not miss that age. Like that was... Ugh, I hated middle school.
Oh, no, that was tough. No.
Ugh. Anyways,
tough.
What do you look for? Lots of times reviews. I have one particular review that I know has gotten me a fair amount of referrals because it was the opposing party who left a review for me and basically said, I represented the husband, and she said in her review something to the effect of, she cleaned me and my attorney for lunch or something. I mean, it was something like, you don't want to be opposite her in court.
Okay.
And when you read that review, you knew that was true. Like, you read it and you go, ooh, she did not enjoy being on the other side of Michelle. So sometimes it's you need to go meet a bunch of attorneys. That's what I will say. Do not hire the first one you meet.
Okay.
Go meet several, because the more you meet, the more you will see the variety of attorneys out there, number one.
Okay.
Number two, when you're with another attorney, and this happens all the time, I am also going to go see this attorney, what do you think? And what that attorney tells you about colleagues says a lot as well. I know I've had lots of clients, they'll say, I'm going to go meet with this attorney, this attorney, this attorney. I'm like, you know what? You'll be in great hands with all three. Here's why. And I tell them they're good for this. Because as practitioners who live this and breathe this every single day, we know who the good ones are. We know who the bad ones are. And so I may not badmouth someone that they're going to say they're going to go see. What I would say was like, well, out of those three, I'm like, A and B would be really good for you, and here's why. Right? Because sometimes you have to find the right personality match for you as well with your attorney, because it is a relationship kind of like with your doctor. Is this the doctor that you want saving your life? Is this the lawyer that you want saving your life? Because when you come down to the finances and the kids and who gets what, yes, the judge matters. I'm not going to lie. But who the right attorney is can absolutely have that same impact. And so a lot of times it's, what other attorneys in the community say.
That's really good advice, because definitely because we probably spend more time vetting who's going to do your hair than who's going to do your divorce.
Right.
You're like, oh, or your nails even, like, oh, I don't like going to that nail salon.
No, I'm like, no, they cut me last time. They cut it too short. Nuh-uh. It was crooked.
Yes.
It was
God.
too much to the left. I'm not going back.
I will cut off a nail salon quicker than freaking you can say quick.
Man, I am a through and through girly girl. My hair and nails always done. I really am, even though I sound like a man, and if I'm sick, forget it's even worse. I'm such a girly girl. But yeah, no, like if they fuck up my nails, dead to me.
Yeah.
Bad haircut.
Yeah.
Dead to me.
So and listening, this is how you feel too. You're like, but you'll just take the first attorney because
take the first attorney.
Here we go.
Your first attorney, you may have hit the jackpot.
Right.
You may have gotten it right, but go meet others so that you are assured in that. Here's the other thing I'm going to add in, and my law partners and I talk about this all the time, is you can always change horses.
Let me ask you that, because then you hear these rumors like, oh, well, no one would believe her. That's why she had all these lawyers.
Okay, so there is a distinction between changing horses and going through a stable. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Because, and I quite often come in as attorney number two. Quite often I come in as something needs to be fixed. And that's okay.
Clean up on aisle 2.
Right. Or if the case gets much more contested, I get a lot of those referrals from attorneys that do not go to court. I don't know if you know this, but Texas is the only state left that does jury trials in family law cases and divorces. And so there's a type of attorney that does jury trials, and not all the family law attorneys do. I do jury trials. So I come in second a lot.
Okay.
And I can look at who the prior attorney was, just like the judges can, y'all, because the judges see these same attorneys over and over and over again. Okay, I know why they changed. That makes sense. But if you're on attorney 6 and all the 5 ones before you were like Kentucky Derby winners, or they call it Triple Crown, right? So let's say all 5 are Triple Crowns, and then you're attorney number 6. The problem isn't going to be those 5. The problem's going to be the person. So there is an analysis that goes into it, but changing horses in and of itself is not bad. If you are tied to a bad horse, put it out of its misery and find a new one. Okay. Don't go through a stable. Probably the same for dating advice too. Don't go through a stable, but go through, a couple.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you know, you hear all this shit and everyone's like, oh my God, I don't want to be like this. And, you know, because we hear the extreme, right? So in this space, there are extreme cases where, you know, protective parents are losing their children because they seem hysterical or they seem, I think in my particular situation, I was underprepared. So I wasn't prepared for what was coming. I like had all my documents and my shit all over the place. Like now I'm like, everything's on an app. Everything's like in order.
Well, and here's my method for trial for every trial is KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
There you go.
You got to spoon feed it to the judges. The more complex it is, the more difficult it is for anyone to decipher. If you have multiple modes of communication, so text, email, OFW, app close. No. Stick to one and only use one. Do not deviate.
That's very important.
I totally went off on a tangent on that one. I'm like,
no, it's not a tangent. Cause like, that's again, I didn't know. Then I'm like, okay, you should be using talking parents from the jump because then, I mean, I don't get to have my texties from the Exties from you because they're not allowed to say a bunch of bad words to you, but it's going to save you a lot of mental anguish. It's going to save you a lot of, you know, like looking for your shit everywhere. And it's just like in one place. And I would almost be inclined to say the more prepared you are and the more in order you are, the more credible you look instead
Correct.
of like your stuff, like, you know, all over the place. Right.
If your stuff is everywhere, the judge doesn't think you're a hot mess. The other thing that I always tell them to focus on is you're not going to court in theory to show he or she is a bad person, whoever the abuser is, because abusers come in all shapes, forms, and genders. What you are doing is going to court if you have children to show who the better parent is and why. And you say, well, that seems like odd, right? Because we want to show that he's bad. Yeah, but saying some of those facts of what happens, yeah, those are bad. And yes, the court's not going to like that he assaulted you. But doing it in front of the children is more impactful, which sounds terrible for me to say, but your goal is to win in court and have the judge see that person for who they are, right? So let's talk about the nitty gritty, what you got to show in court. You got to make it kid-centric. Otherwise, they're going to paint you as the crazy ex who just wants to get back at him and wants to take the kids away from him. That's what they're going to paint you as. And so you have to paint a different picture. And it's, sorry.
No, and my question is that too. It's like, so remember, like, or for you to answer this for someone listening, you know your case better than anyone, but
correct.
You're also not in the right mindset because you're still coming from a trauma response. So it's like, you want to be like, look at all the shit he's done over the last 25 years.
And I tell him, I'm like, I'm sorry, not coming in. You got to pick the highlights. It's a highlight reel.
There we go.
Because it's a highlight reel. And so you pick the top 5 that are the most atrocious. It is. And if you get stuck on the trees as opposed to a forest, you're going to lose every time. So you want the stuff that's most current, the most impactful, and what shows the most of who that person is as a parent. Top 3.
Love it. That is such important information. Because again, you're not there to try to prove to anybody that like this isn't a popularity contest.
No, this is who walks out the door with the kids.
Yeah. There you go.
That's what and so I have to refocus clients at times. It's what about this? What about this? I said, the court's not gonna care. And I'm sorry that the court's not gonna care about that. But we've got to figure out what are your goals. And that's kind of one of the things I start with in a lot of my interviews is what is it you really want? And why is it that you want that? And then I try and get to a little bit behind of where does the anger come from? Where does the animosity? Where did this turn ugly, right? Because if you can usually figure out where something went ugly, you can usually figure out a way to maneuver around it to minimize that impact and maybe get a better result for your client. So it's not just a simple analysis of you want the kids and he beat you.
Okay.
Or it's not just simple analysis of you want the kids and he was financially controlling and then cut off all your credit cards the minute you moved out or change the debit card PIN number. Yes, those things matter, but how you frame them matters more. For example, when you're talking about cutting off the credit cards, because this happens all the time. Yeah. how you frame it in court is not, and it would be me asking him questions. It would not be, will you cut off your wife from any source of funds? Isn't that correct? No. The question is, how is she supposed to buy food for your children? How is she supposed to get them to school in the morning if she didn't have a gas card that she has used for the last 10 years? Did you think about the impacts on your children before you made those moves? That's why that's why the attorney matters. That's why all of this matters on how you frame it in court. Because if you just go in there and your client says, as the woman that got cut off, well, he cut me off and he left me with no funds and he left me this and I couldn't get my hair done. I couldn't do blah, blah, blah. No. Court doesn't give two shits about you. Sorry. The court cares about what's best for those kids.
That is so impactful because as we know, excuse me, and as we've been unpacking everything, financial abuse is real.
Oh, it's so real.
And it doesn't make sense when it's happening. When it happened to me, I didn't know it was financial abuse. I just was like, and I'm trying to reason with the most unreasonable, going, I don't understand why, like, I haven't worked in 9 years. I need to, like, how am I supposed to feed the kids? How am I, mine was like, I'm not giving you $1 if it goes to put food in your mouth or, whatever. And you're just like, they're really good at manipulating you into thinking that you're a money grubbing bitch. When the reality is you need to be able to continue to provide for your children, even though you're not in the relationship anymore. You still have that intrinsic value, which they want to devalue you mostly and be like, you just wanted me for the money, whatever. All this that they're going to tell you. So just don't listen to them.
Say, yes, I did. What are you going to do about it? But I would do. Okay, sure.
Yeah. And it's like, and so many people are like, I have lost women in the wrong scenario have lost everything. Yep. I mean, financially. And then they're like, I left and was on food stamps. And I'm like, how is this even possible? I was driving a Range Rover living on in a massive home and had all the things. How am I on food stamps? This doesn't make any fucking sense because I did it wrong.
Tell me this though. How much happier were you not driving a Range Rover?
Seriously. I am in the getaway car, as we call it. Like I'm a big Swiftie. And so my kids are like, we play this song.
I'm not a Swiftie.
She has a song called The Getaway Car. And I packed all my stuff in the Range Rover and then was like, oh, fuck, it's not in my name. So he's like probably going to report it stolen. And so the only thing after all the years that I owned that was in my name was this gray Honda Odyssey minivan. And
I call them swagger wagons.
Yeah, it is. But I'm like, this is my shagging wagon, but I don't do any shagging in it. There's like decayed goldfish and like spoiled milk. But I put all the shit.
It's got a funk that you just don't
yeah, you're like, it smells like socks and Chick-fil-A. Like that's... And I don't smell it anymore, but like when new people come in, I can see them being like, and they're like windows, they're desperate to get the window down. I'm like, oh yeah, what's that?
I love it.
So I'm like, hey, do you want me to drive? They're like, no, we're good. We'll come pick you up.
We'll come pick you up. We'll meet you there.
That was the only thing I had. And I still drive that motherfucker around. I'm still rolling in it. And I'm like, it's paid for. I own it. And I'm like, they see me rolling. That's like, and hate him. That is like,
Can you please put some curb feelers on it and send me a picture? Because that would make my year.
I will. And my kids are like, Mom, when do we think?
No.
And I'm like,
what? You need to do a calendar shoot with the minivan.
Oh my God, that would be so amazing. I really do. Because here's the story of the getaway car. It's so I loaded everything into it and like literally I looked at it and I'm like between that and a storage unit, I'm like, holy fuck, this is my entire life with this, like this last can fit into this.
This is my life in this van.
This is my life now.
Boy, that's not a reality check, huh?
I was like, oh my God. Oh, and I didn't have the big storage unit. I have like the $25 a month one. And I thought, wow, okay. And I had just spent, all this time and effort and sourcing furniture from all over the fucking none of it matters, right? And it
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But you know what lesson? It is crazy lesson because in the breakup of like things, those were the things that like we were bargaining for, which I realized like, oh my God, like I'll give you the couch if you give me this, and let me take the kids here if you give me this. Mm-hmm. All of it is noise. You don't want it anyway. You don't, nope. You might need it, but again, you can, Facebook Marketplace is a great place. Oh my God,
Facebook Marketplace, great.
It's like you can restart everywhere. So I have this minivan, and I'm going to do something one day when I'm rebuilding my life. We're going to do a photo shoot. And it is funny because my daughter was learning to drive, and this was like really soon after we were living in hotels and Airbnbs, and I finally got my first place. And she was learning to drive. Well, but she wasn't quite there. And so I said, hey, do you want to move the car? So she's like, okay. So she moves the car, and she'll say she was used to driving like a golf cart. So when you put it in drive, like it doesn't go anywhere. So she put it in drive and the car starts going, and then she like smashes it into this. And I'm like, I go outside, and I'm like, everybody needs to go inside right now. And she'll tell you later that she saw me going, fuck. It was like the only thing that I own, and now the front is all bashed up. And I'm like, fuck.
I need a break.
She doesn't have a license, and I can't claim this on insurance because like I wouldn't do that. And I will tell you, do you know, I pull up in that minivan, and I'm doing like a kid exchange, and we're at a FCS meeting, and all of a sudden we're sitting there, and she drinks and drives. You should see her car. It's all smashed up. I'm like, oh, what? No. And then I'm like, wait, no, that's not what happened at all. My daughter. And then I walked right into it. I was like, no, my daughter. And then he
you're
goes,
defending yourself.
I was defending. And I said, no, my daughter was driving. He goes, ask her how old she is. I'm like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
So
like, silence is golden.
Yes. So thank you for that, because they're setting you up. So all the things, and in the moments when they're being so nice and the mask is on, even during my split, I was like, you're being really nice right now. So then he'd give me a little bit of money, or he'd breadcrumb me with shit. And then I'm like, well, maybe we can work this out without lawyers.
Maybe we can get along.
Yeah. Maybe this is like, we should.
Maybe he's turned a new leaf over. Bitch, no, he hasn't.
No, he wants me to live in that fucking van. I promise you. I'm going to clean it up and gift it. I cannot wait. We're going to do a live show where I gift this minivan to a bestie. I'll get it cleaned and detailed and fixed.
And the funky funk gone.
We'll defunkify it as best we can. But I cannot wait to give the getaway car away when I'm in a position to buy a new one and be like, listen, if you need a ride, she's got you.
She's your ride or die.
She's your ride or die.
I have some ideas for like a photo shoot because we need to do monthly outfits for her.
Yes.
And I can foresee some bikinis on her in like June, July. One with polka dots. Ooh. Maybe a Santa hat for Christmas.
Oh my God.
Frost for January.
So the Santa one, we could get the minivans that put the antlers on during Christmas and the red nose. I'm not that mom, but I will be for the calendar.
For the calendar shoot. And then all the proceeds from the calendar for the getaway can go to a women's shelter.
We are doing this. We are
absolutely. Who knew I had such good ideas?
Look
See, lawyers aren't terrible.
No, we are going to do this. I might drive to Texas and we can do it together.
Well, I'm going to be actually out in LA a couple times over the next 2 months. So.
Oh my gosh. We'll be like, she crossed state lines.
Yeah. They may kick me out of California and go back to Texas, but we'll see.
This is what I find about someone like looking for a personality like you to represent, like, listen to how you talk, listen to how you're like, look, why I almost want to say, like, I went for the man because I thought like mano a mano, but you're, as a woman, you're going to understand some nuances as a mom, as a woman, as, somebody's been there, done that, got out, which I really want to encourage our besties to sort of look into. Is just like saying, who's the person that's going to understand this, to be able to, because you're removed, the emotion is removed, and you're going to be able to articulate it the way that a judge like you said, spoon fed. You're in there for 8 minutes. I mean, like, and the judge has been here like all day. He's probably fucking hungry. Who knows what he did last night in family court?
Well,
Does he even want to be there? Does he have
and you
any?
have to remember, some of these judges don't have any family law background.
Yes. They're just
That's
doing
the other
rounds.
problem. That's the other problem is that you may have a judge that may know a whole lot about med mal or wills and trusts or estates or car accidents, but not family law. And in order for your story to get across, the lawyer you hire has to have, presence is the wrong word, but the ability for a judge to listen and go, maybe that attorney is right. Because it's not always about being the loudest and being the most zealous. I remember in court, I'm in trial a lot. One of my trials, I turned to the mom in my closing arguments, and I told her that I was sorry. Because my client truly was a nice man. This was a truly two nice people, should have been divorced a long time ago, but didn't. And I told her, I'm sorry. He's sorry. And it was just it was a really nice, like, just closing. And I think I eventually heard later that from whoever listened was like, that was one of the most effective closings they'd heard, because it was just it wasn't about pounding the points home. It was about saying, sorry that your 17 years ended up this way. It wasn't his intent. We know it wasn't yours. We're sorry. Sometimes that goes a lot farther than going to beat someone's head over the whatever in court and saying they're wrong, they're wrong, they're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes neither side is wrong, just bad circumstance.
Right. It's so true.
So, I mean, so really sometimes it's about how you convey the message.
And then what are your thoughts on when you're looking for breaking down your parenting plan? Because there's so many people who are like, he didn't let me take a shower when, we were together. Now he wants 50-50. He's only going 50-50 for the money. Let's talk about, what does 50-50 even mean?
What do I even mean? There's so many different versions of 50-50. So that's a tough one. And let me do the easy part first. I think summer is where a lot of the negotiation room is, because schedules in the summer don't matter as much as your weekly school activities, those things. So for me, summer's like the negotiation. I'll give you more summer if we get more of what we want during the school year, because you've got to, not everything is a battle. You have to pick your battles, right? So you pick the important battles. If the important battles for you are ensuring those kids get to school or on a schedule through that entire school year, then you have to negotiate somewhere. And you figure out the spot that bothers them or affects the kids the least. So for me, it's summer. I don't know what they do in California for summer, but standard possession order in Texas is the non-possessory parent gets 30 days in the summer, and then first, third, and fifth weekends. And anyways, so you'll have a period, of block of time, if they exercise those 30 days, that the other parent only sees the kids for a weekend out of the 30 days. There's a trend to change it more to week on, week off in the summer, with each party getting the right to have a 2-week vacation with the children. That works pretty well. And then the question is, what do we do during the school year? There's a trend of week on, week off. There's the trend of like alternating weekends. There's what we call a 2-2-5, which is one parent is Monday, Tuesdays, one parent is Wednesday, Thursdays, and weekends alternate. It matters the age of the kids. It matters the schedule of the kids. It matters the distance the parties live from each other. So all of these factors a court will take into consideration when ordering a possession schedule as a general rule. And it's not just, I want 50-50, so I'm going to go in court and ask for it. Yes, you're going to be angry because they never participated before. They weren't up in the middle of the night for the breastfeedings. They weren't up for all the diapers. You took to all the doctor's appointments. You did all of those things. And how dare they come in now and say, I want half? Mm-hmm. Pisses you off. Absolutely pisses you off. And they know that. They know it's going to piss you off. They don't want 50-50. They just want to piss you off so they get the more of the assets on their side, because they're going to trade money for kids.
Well, and they're going to and they're going to trade money for kids, and then they're going to ask you, or they'll like use grandma, like, well, can you just take the kids now? Or grandma's going to get the kids. They don't want you to have the kids, and they don't want you to have the money. And remember this, the most important thing too is you need to come prepared with what you want for a very long time, because it's not easy to change an order. They didn't want to do shit with you before.
So difficult. Yeah.
Why do you think they're be like, well, I'm just going to do this now. I have so many holes in mine where I'm like, I had to go back and be like, oh shit, we didn't just like, they were at this one school when they had this break. Now they have it at a new school. They have this break. Can we talk about it? Oh, you just lit up their whole brain of like, oh, guess we get to play again. We get to play. What do you think she wants? No, this is your Bible. Your parenting plan will be your Bible. So you better.
Oh, it is your Bible. You better know it back, forwards, inside out. And because they will word game it, they will play with it. They'll say, oh, no, it says this. And I get the phone call. Well, does it say? No, it doesn't. Here's what it says. And it's every year, it's the same fight between the same couples. I'm like, you don't remember last year when we discussed this? It's the same answer. Remember, your divorce attorney is not your enemy. You may not like their advice, but if it's an attorney that you hired that is good at what they do, they're giving you their advice based on their experience in the courtroom between that particular judge, with opposing counsel, with these type of facts. They're not doing it just to hear themselves talk, I can assure you.
Yes. And I mean, it's important to know too, like a lot of women reach out and they're like, okay, well, he was abusive. He's this, like, again, all of these are nuances in your particular case. And you have to understand that I had a judge at one point was like, you got to figure it out for the kids now. This has been going on long enough. Yep. Like, drop the restraining order so you guys can move on. Like, we've been told a million things where you're like, what, and at some point you have to be like, understand the safety of your kids, and you have to be able to move forward. And
correct. And if you can't, you get punished.
Yes. Okay. So I want to ask you this too. What are your thoughts when you're leaving, and again, you're being safe, and we hear all these, I had told somebody recently, by the way, and I'm sorry, I'm just going to go on this for just 1 second, where people are like, getting gift cards, start getting cash back, like start doing ways that you can sort of pad your bank account so that you can have some resources and money to leave. Then someone said they did that, a friend of mine, and she's like, it ended up on the Chase bank statement. Like, here were the groceries spent at Trader Joe's, and then here was the $75 gift card. So I just have to say, like, I don't know what banks do, what kind of, reporting practices, but it may not be as like safe as you think.
It's not safe as you think, unless you're paying cash for the gift cards.
Okay. So what does somebody have if you're married? What are they can you just say, take all the money out of the bank account, don't spend it, but just, is there anything that anybody can do? And maybe
that's going to be jurisdictional dependent. Okay. I'm not going to lie. So It depends. And when you hear a lawyer say it depends, it makes everyone go, oh, I knew that she was going to say that, but it depends. So the best example is in Travis County and most of the surrounding counties, we've got what called standing orders that go into effect immediately upon the filing of a family law case. So the minute you file for divorce, the minute you file what we call a suit affecting parent-child relationship, there are orders that go into effect. So you can't diminish the estate, you can't hide the children, you can't take on new debt, you can't do anything that financially impacts at least the marital estate, unless it's for legal fees or normal operating, living expenses and business expenses. So that's the caveat. So typically, moving money from one account to another does not violate it, right? Now, if you start spending that money, that's different. And again, this applies in Texas and what I advise clients. I'm not giving any legal advice to any other state other than where I'm licensed to practice. And so it just depends on the jurisdiction. So long as you're not diminishing and not going out to buy, a McLaren, you're probably going to be okay. Just make sure you account for the stuff. Be careful on spending on boyfriends, girlfriends. You get wasting claims where you spent money on your trip to Hawaii with a girlfriend that you shouldn't have done. So long as you can account for it and your accounting is reasonable and you're not violating any court orders, you're probably going to be okay. But it all comes down to if you have clean hands. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what state you're in. The court is going to assess your case on your credibility as a witness and on their credibility as a witness. And having clean hands never hurts you.
You have to get yourself safe, and you have to get they're not going to give you money.
Nope.
So if you can take it safely and say, okay, and I love that. Accounting, you need to feed yourself. You need to be able to feed the kids. Yep. Reverse the order. You need to feed your kids. You need to feed yourself. You need to have housing somewhere. You need to be able to.
And here's the thing.
Basic needs.
Let's say you get popped by the judge. Let's say the judge says that was not good. You got through it and you survived. And your kids are okay.
Right.
Sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. But I'm still impelling as an officer of the court, never ignore a court order.
She said what she said.
Uh-huh.
But it's so nuanced. And it's like, we want to get you out. I don't want you to be in the MILF Mafia forever. I really don't. I want you to be able to, I
don't know. I like the founder and CEO of the MILF Mafia.
I am. I mean,
because eventually you win. Eventually it ends.
Eventually it does end. I mean, we sell merch.
I'm so glad I'm not the only podcaster that sells merch. I llove my merch.
Yeah, hell yeah, you got to. Proceeds, from the MILF Mafia purchases do go to a nonprofit. So we do try to we're paying it forward, because I really do believe you are in this position. Litigation abuse is absolutely real.
Oh, 100%.
They want, especially the person who, as we know, if you've been a stay-at-home mom, you've been at home, you have value. That is a job. You have contributed to the financial health of your marriage, relationship, what have you. If you've been home raising children, your partner gets to continue to go out, build his network and his net worth, while you sort of stay, your life freezes outside of being a mother.
Freezes in time. And you get left behind.
You do. And good luck.
And there should be compensation for that.
You should be getting a salary, in my opinion.
Well, the salary is not high enough. Kind of like they don't pay teachers enough.
That's true.
Do you know how hard it is to stay home and raise kids?
I do. I did it.
No, I can't do. I mean, I've had 3 kids. If I had this, no, I don't have that kind of patience.
I stayed home. I stayed home, and then I was told that I created value while I stayed home, but I took said value with me when I left the relationship. And therefore, I deserved nothing. And I'll tell you, bisties, I'll tell you something right now. I believe that bullshit. I ate it up like a goddamn breakfast, and I'm going to tell you something.
It was your grits and... I don't even eat Southern food. Biscuits and grits.
Biscuits and gravy.
I'm a terrible Southerner, but in all fairness, I'm originally from Canada. I had a green card forever.
What the fuck?
So,
wait, you didn't. Why don't we start with this? I'm from Canada.
I was wondering, because I heard a couple words and I was like, wait a minute. So I'm originally from Winnipeg.
Okay. Well, I'm Eastern Canada. I'm from Montreal, but not a...
You're from Montreal?
Yeah, not a separatist. No offense to any separatists.
Are you sure?
Listening. We are Anglophones.
Well, funny. So my mom's family is all from Quebec. My grandfather didn't learn to speak English until his 20s.
Oh my gosh. And yeah. Hi, welcome to Canada. I am an American citizen now.
Bienvenue.
Yes. Bienvenue, Montreal. And I am American. I'm American. Because that was a huge point of contention too. I'll see your fucking ass deported. I bet you would. So I went real quick and got my American citizenship. And that's also important too. If you need to take care...
I could talk for days about immigration and the abuse that goes on if you're an immigrant with an abusive spouse. When I was a judge out in far west Texas, I ran the protective order court. And it was it's one of the largest border communities in the world. And that was an everyday thing in our court. Every day. VAWA came in almost every day, or people would seek status under VAWA. You and I, we got so much more to talk about.
We do. I have to actually put a calendar together so that this can be an ongoing segment so that we can just tackle all of these pieces, because it is super important. This person, again, they are not your friend. They will find any sort of way to win. And even they'll tell you, because the whole cycle of abuse is all about value, devalue, love bomb. If you just know that those are the 3 things that they're going to do, and they can cycle through it more than that you cycle through your underwear, they are going to do this in the time that you're just in court with them. And the second that they think they're losing, guess who they're going to be? Mr. fucking nice guy, charming, is going to come back. But then
I'm so sorry that I blame my attorney. I followed his advice when I really just wanted to take the nice route. So maybe we can meet, and have for coffee, maybe discuss it without the attorneys. I'm so sorry my attorney didn't follow my requests.
if you
Guess how
just,
many times you've heard that one?
I have, if you just drop this, we can move on, and it's like that. You really need this help. You just, and you're going to move on. Here's the most amazing thing, because life does keep moving forward. You will be moving on eventually, but you're almost prolonging your moving on by not going in the route of getting the help that you need. And again, I know there's going to be people listening who you can't afford an attorney. I get it. I understand. This is just, it's too broad and it's not self-serve, and unfortunately, but there are organizations in your county, in your area that will.
See, I just heard the Canadian and organizations. I knew I heard it. I was like, why am I? Where am I? I was hearing it. If you're Canadian, when you hear it, I'm like.
So this is like, I love these episodes because I'm going, okay, well, this is gone. That we could go on forever. And we will keep going on, and we won't shut up about it. We'll keep talking. I do believe that there's a lot of value in creating sort of a standing segment and having you back on and reaching out to the bestie gang, asking us what you want us, Michele, to cover.
Give me questions. I'll answer your questions. You may not like my answers, but I'll give them to you.
We need it. We need you to feel like power, support. And so, we've kind of.
Knowledge is power. Understanding the system is power. And I have seen pro se's out-legal some really good lawyers.
Pro se all day, besties.
Pro se all day, baby.
I hope you have merch that says that. Well, no, you don't want merch that says that because you are a lawyer.
No,
but
there's lots of 4-letter words, and divorce and fair is not one of them.
Okay, besties, I'm going to make you pro se all day merch that you can wear.
Yeah, pro se all day. That's kind of awesome. I may have to borrow that one too. We may have to do a collab.
Yes, we will. Oh my God. And so just know that, this is what this is for, right? So we're building your bestie toolkit. We're helping you understand the things that I wish I had known, and just putting you in a place of power. Like you said, knowledge is power, and you have lost all autonomy, financial, all of your independence, your own thoughts. Unfortunately, they're not even original. They're just mind messing and mind fucking word salad that they've been serving you for the last however long you've been with this person. So gaining back that just small little bit of just, I fucking got this, LFG energy is what we're here to do. So Michele, if you could put one tool in our besties toolkit, what would it be?
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's a terrible question.
We can't put Jesus Christ in the toolkit.
I know. Can I tell you honestly? It's confidence in your story and your truth. Because the whole time that you do these cases with these types of individuals in particular, you doubt yourself. They make you think you're crazy. They tell you you're crazy. And you believe it. And then you think that no one's going to believe you. And so the biggest tool to add to your toolkit is, other than keep it simple, stupid, is believe in yourself and your story. You know the truth. You know what kind of parent you were. You know what kind of person you were. And get that other person out of your head and go back to the person you remember you were before they got in there.
Hell yeah.
That's probably, it's like, I can't, not even a website, just keep it simple, stupid, and kiss, and then have confidence in you.
Oh, you know what? That is so important, because remember, you are a baddie. You are you've got it in you. And going back to the reason why this pathological person, the narcissist, the sociopath, the psychopath chose you to begin with is because you're a fucking badass. They wanted the light. They wanted the shiny things. They wanted what you had that they didn't naturally, innately possess. They want it. They want to take it from you. They want to dim your light. They want to take it all and bring you down to nothing. But you were that person that can go do big, bad things.
So is it Rihanna that says shine bright like a
diamond? Shine bright like a diamond.
We're all fucking diamonds.
You're amazing. I am so incredibly grateful to you for coming on the show today. I'm having the
It's so
greatest
much
time
fun.
ever.
It's so much fun. I cannot wait to do it again.
Me too. Like we're gonna swap calendars as soon as we get off, and we've got some.
Exactly. As soon as we stop recording,
We've got some admin to do, y'all. And
we do. Oh, and you said y'all. Ha ha. See, Texas prevails.
I do love saying y'all. So we've made some merch. We've got
A calendar for your car.
a calendar for the getaway car.
For the getaway car. I actually love that idea.
And so I have to ask you, because I do have a club. I know you quit your sorority, but it sounds like you're up for organized organizations.
I can be. If they'll let me in, that may be the key.
Okay. Well, I've been taking notes, and you definitely, you are checking all the boxes to join us in the BFF group. And the acronym for BFF is Bitches Fighting for Freedom. And we would love you to join us on this.
I would love to join. Is there something that I can wear that is bedazzled? Because that's my personal favorite.
Well, I will bedazzle anything for you.
I seriously, I love, I have one of those portable mics when we're getting ready to bedazzle it myself because I just really love bling. It's so terrible of me, I know.
No, I'll get you a bedazzle. We'll make you like a custom MILF bedazzle. We can we could do a limited edition.
And we put my red lips on it.
Yes. Oh, I've got all sorts of ideas.
I'm telling you, between that and the calendar for the getaway car.
We got it. We're going to do some fun shit.
We got it. This is, Lindsay, I am so glad that because I know I'd seen the email come through and I'd reached back out and then I lost it and I was going through emails. I'm like, no, I got it. I gotta. So I'm so glad.
Me too.
Because this was meant to be.
It really was. And I have found this. In doing this work, I have met some of the most amazing, impressive badasses. And every time I get off a show, I am fired up to okay, what do we do now? How do we freaking get loud? How do we, and I love that. And I feel like you're somebody who wants to get loud for the besties in the back with us. So welcome to the bestie gang. You're a BFF for life. You're a MILF. You're all the things.
I'm kind of excited. It's been a while since I belonged to such a cool and distinguished club because they usually don't let me in.
Well, we do. We don't let everybody in.
I'm excited. I'm kind of excited. I can't wait till the next one.
Let's fucking go. We love it. Okay, so where can our besties find you?
Oh, I'm so easy to find. Instagram, Attorney Michele Locke. My website's Michele Locke. Just remember, I'm from Canada. My mother spelled my name with one L instead of two for Michelle. Because I would have been Michelle if I'd been a boy or a girl. Happened to be a boy or girl, thank God for Texas. So MichelleLocke.com. My podcast is any Love Lost Laws, anywhere you can find podcasts. So Amazon, Spotify, Apple. I'm not hard to find. And maybe hard to get out of your head once you hear the voice because the voice kind of sticks, but
We love it.
Yeah. But I'm easy to find. And if you want to email me, hello@MichelleLocke.com.
Well, there we go. She's made it easy. Yeah. And that's Michele, Michele. We'll put it all in the show notes. We'll link everything so you can find her. And you've not seen The Last of Us together. This is just the beginning.
This is the start of a beautiful friendship.
Yes. Well, besties, we are so incredibly grateful to you tuning in every episode and listening to us. And we're welcoming Michele to the Bestie Gang. And we will see you next Tuesday. Bye, besties. If this show is a show that you enjoy or love or learn from, please do like, share, subscribe, and review. It means the world to us. It helps keep our show going, helps those reviews. If there's something that you want us to discuss, please send me a DM at Bitch is a Bad Word Pod. You can find us on TikTok and YouTube at Bitch is a Bad Word. Send me your texties from your Exties. You can send them through Instagram on a DM, or you can reach out to us. 331 bitches is our phone number. And you can also send us an email, which is biabw@caliber-studio.com. There is no safety in staying silent. If you are in immediate danger, please use 911, crash on a friend's couch, do whatever you have to do to get safe. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is available to you at 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-SAFE. You can reach out to them at thehotline.org 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Besties are standing by. They've got your back. Completely anonymous. They've answered over 7 million calls. We really want to try to help get that number down. It's like every time I say it, it's next level. I'm here for you. I love you. You are part of the Bestie Gang. We could not do this show without you. And we really appreciate all of the love. It's so good. If you would like to join the Patreon, you can find us at patreon.com/bitch is a bad word. There's a whole bunch of baddies over there building their network, regrowing their net worth. Who knows what you can meet? Really, it's all connection, right? There's free tiers, there's paid tiers. Go check it out. See what's happening. See what's popping on the Patreon. Check out our merch. MILF merch is for sale. Bestie merch is coming. Obviously, now I have to make a pro say all day. I'm really excited about our merch. And we love you. That's it. We love you. We'll see you next Tuesday, besties. Our editor is Kevin Mackler. Our music was composed by Drew Kevorkian. Our art design was created by Eric Dunson and Kevin Roche. Our interns are baddies. Our Patreon is run by Kay, and this has been a Caliber Studios production. Bitches being bad.